Hi guys, my name is Jordan. Um, so as a child, my parents never really read to me much as far as I can remember. Um, I can't remember ever looking at books like without being able to read them. I'm sure I did, but I don't remember have a vivid memory of looking at them. But definitely once I learned how to read, I remember spending like as much time as I could with a book in my hand, begging my mom to go to the library. My favorite place to read was in our recliner in our living room with my legs drooped over one of the arms and my back against the other arm. Um, as far as today, I still have I still love to pick up a good book. I get so excited when I get a new book. I got, I think like 5 new books this summer, and I'm super excited to read them. But unfortunately, I don't have as much time to read anymore. And most of the time, I only read for assignments in school, just because once I'm out of school, I'm kind of done with reading. Um, I definitely found the most comfortable position as a child because I still love to sit in a recliner with my legs in the same position and pick up a book and just sit there. And if I can do that, great. But I don't have very much time to do that. Um, I definitely think that those experiences as children, being not excited about reading, has definitely influenced like how excited I get now. But I definitely think with how fast life is, that kid's still inside and begging to read, but uh, the busy schedule of life just hinders it. Um, so as far as reading aloud to children, I think that it sparks a wonder inside them that they'll enjoy for like the rest of their lives. If you make an impact on them from reading aloud either in a classroom or just at home with your own kids or nieces, nephews, um, cousins, any kid you have, I think it engages them so much. I work with children a lot, and whenever I read to them, I can see that their attention is just completely focused on the book and what's happening in it, and they're just enthralled in it. And it creates memories that I think will last forever. Another example is my nephew. As far as I can remember, my brother and sister-in-law have read to him his entire life. I have read to him, and he's 2 now, and he has his favorite books, and he's memorized a lot from them, and he will, when you're reading a book to him, sometimes he'll even say the line that's coming up, like he knows when it's coming up. He's going to have those memories for ever, and it sparks a connection not only with the book and the child, but also between you and the child, and it has a connection that hopefully will last most of their life. So I had a little bit of trouble on the origins one, coming up with it, but I think that the historical Genesis origin is important to children's lit because it provides education, but in a fun and intriguing way. Like, it's not just, hey, here's a textbook. It's, hey, look at how wonderful the world is and how wonderful the world works. And like Newbery making the little pretty pocketbook, that just in itself, under the genesis of historical context, he has the medal seal, the award book, named after him. As also the chapter said that the historical context origin brings up what truly is children's literature. And I feel like that's such an important question to ask when, we're discussing it. What is children's literature? Is it stuff specifically written for children? Because a lot of the stuff that we see as classics, they weren't written for children, and but they didn't, because they didn't have children's literature, but it entertained their minds, and it showed them that reading was amazing. While as domestic origins, I kind of saw that as, like the women were in charge of their children's education, and they used that as making supplements that they could use for their children, and this popularized stuff like the flip book. Like, my nephews love those books. He thinks they're hilarious. They've definitely commercialized them much more now, but he loves the pulling it up. One book that stressed the maternal education was definitely Finn's The Art of Teaching as a Sport. This came with, as the chapter said, some like supplements, but the main thing was focused on mothers teaching their kids. And I think that helped with the connection between parents and children, because parents know what their kids need, and that influenced children's literature because it shows that kids are getting what they need through children's literature. The origin of the specific and symbolic was a little bit easier. Some of my favorite books were in here, like A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, which we get to read in this class, which I'm very excited for, and Stevenson's Treasure Island. And it's important because these writers were writing for specific children. They had a motive that was so strong and specific that they didn't even think about publishing. It wasn't to publish the book. It wasn't to make money. They wrote to entertain children. And that is why children's literature exists. It's not there because kids, like, their parents are buying it. So kids need something that is going to entertain them. And that origin definitely does that for the kids. Now, on to Mother Goose. I really enjoyed reading the Mother Goose rhymes. One of my favorite Mother Goose rhymes was Apple Pie Pudding Pancake. Let me see, what is it? It's Apple Pie Pudding Pancake all begins with A. And I read that one, and it took me a minute to think about what it really meant. And another one I really liked was A Man of Words and Not of Deeds, because it had all the similes in it, and then at the end it just said, "You're dead and dead and dead." And it was just so, but definitely my all-time favorite was As I Was Going to St. Ives, because that riddle I've heard since I was a child, and it's always stuck with me, because I never really got it when I was younger, but I got it because it always confused me. So I think that nursery rhymes, it helps kids kind of like learn the sounds of like words and learn like the language. Because they hear them from a young age. Like I was going through it, and all the songs like Humpty Dumpty, like those I've heard my entire life and have always loved them. And it definitely, that helps with language, with wanting to read, I feel like, and sparking that interest as well. As far as the library card, I do have a library card, and I'm very excited to use it because I haven't got to use it in a really long time. So that's what I'm planning. I actually checked out my first 2 weeks of books already. And I'm here because I am getting a requirement to finish my teaching degree and transfer to STAN. Thanks for listening to this. Sorry it's so long.